So now with the structure of our menu in place, next we're going to start to style the unordered list. So let's go back to the exercise files. Inside of the assets folder, let's find menu.css. Let's open this up in our text editor. So inside of here, I have a comment down here that says add menu rules here. Let's come in here and delete this, and we're going to add in some CSS rules that are going to change the layout structure for the menu. Now to visualize what we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking the list items that are at the highest level in the very first unordered list and using these items as the main menu items in the navigation. Then we're going to take the nested unordered lists and restyle those. So when we're done, we're going to end up with the top level elements represented here in blue as our navigation elements. The green is going to be the first level submenu, and the orange will be the second level submenu, or the third level of the hierarchy. So by writing CSS rules that will target the specific levels of our unordered list, we can conform the layout to a structure like this. So back in our CSS file, let's start with a rule that starts with nav, space, then UL. We're going to target the main unordered list. This will also target all of the ULs that are nested as well. And as we go through these rules, we'll start getting more specific with our rules. So we're going to start with list-style as the first property in here, colon, space. We're going to set this to none, then a space. Then we're going to set a margin, colon, space. We're going to set that to 0, semicolon. We're also going to set padding to 0 as well. On the next line, we'll type nav, then a space, then a greater than sign, then UL. What the greater than sign does here is it says that the unordered list that immediately follows the navigation element will be targeted, but any of the nested unordered list items will not be targeted. So if we go back to the HTML file, basically this rule will only target this UL because it is a direct descendant of nav, but it will not target this one because there is a list item and another UL in between the nav item and this UL. So let's go back to our CSS. We're going to do the same thing again with the list item. So space, greater than sign, li, then a space, then put in our brackets. So by doing this, we are targeting only the first level list items. So that rule will go nav, direct descendant UL, and then direct descendant list item, which will get this one, this one, this one, and this one. So back to our CSS file. Inside of the curly brackets, we're simply going to set float, colon, left. So not only will all of the unordered lists not conform to a list style display type, we're also going to be setting a float on the top level list items. So to preview our work so far, let's save this. Back to the browser, let's hit reload. Now we can see that none of the unordered lists are showing bullets, and our top level elements now have a float property. So now they line up next to each other. So we can see About Us, Products, Design Corner, and Contact Us. You'll also notice that the unordered list, which is part of the first list item, is now floating over to the left as well. And then for Design Center, we can see the first 3 links here, which are part of the first nested unordered list inside of Design Corner. And then we can see our second unordered list, which is nested inside of this item. But both of these items are following the Design Corner's list item set to float left. So we can already start to see some of the structure in place after just 2 CSS rules. So with this in place, next we'll add a pseudo element to the unordered list, as well as style the anchor tags.